Thanks for coming in, man.
No, thanks for having me.
And BP, I just met you yesterday for the first time. I've been training out of your gym/garage.
Yeah, and
I like it. I think it's super professional. Great setup, by the way.
Thank you very much. It's going to get better.
Very Spartan-like. Very Spartan-like.
Yes. The one thing I realized is I started asking questions to some coaches. I was like, what makes you the best?
Right.
And the one thing that was constant was these guys just trained out of a garage or put a tree on a bag or something very rustic and Spartan-like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what kind of drove me to do that.
Now, so was it a legit just full garage before and then you got it yourself or?
Oh yeah, it was just packed with junk. So then it took a lot of labor work to get all that junk out, but we managed to get it done.
Now, I guess is the big question, right? It's a pretty big picture question, but why are you a fighter? What makes you want to become a fighter and how did you get started?
So how I started, it was funny because, when I was in high school, I was getting picked on and bullied, but I just started backing up myself in a sense. I just started fighting.
Right.
Started off with that. And then I had a goal to become a police officer. So I realized I can't be a police officer and do street fighting at the same time. So instead, I focused on becoming a police officer, stopped street fighting, and I realized I needed to put that somewhere. So I actually went into a gym, started training.
What was your first gym?
Very first gym, Chris Franco's.
I've been there. Franco's yes. MMA.
Yes, on 33rd and Fraser. Yes. So it was funny because my friends wanted me to do a 1 week trial at Dynamic MMA. That was on 41st and Canby, I believe.
I'm not sure if I've been there.
41st. Oh,
so I've heard of it. I've heard of the name.
It was one of the very known gyms before because what they did was they had a very good jiu-jitsu program there because it was a lot of MMA guys as well. So my friends they heard about a free week there and they wanted me to try it. Unfortunately, I was working so much and I couldn't go with them. After that, they were all sore.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's wrong with you guys? They're like, well, we did that free week and we don't want to ever do it again. Franco's, and I went there and I tried it and I kind of enjoyed it. But at the same time, I just stopped after that. That one day I did it. I didn't really commit to it. So then I stopped. After I walked by the same gym that my friends tried at, and I actually enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Something drew me to that place. The coach there was very fun, energetic. He made it very easy for me to progress in jiu-jitsu, MMA, and I started just training out of that gym. It was Dynamic MMA after.
So did you have any idea that you wanted to be a fighter or was it just something that came about after just training for a while and enjoying the lifestyle?
I was just enjoying it at first and then I wanted to compete. Unfortunately, because I'm a smaller person, there's not a lot of people to compete. And back in the days, it was weird because I wanted to compete and then there would be nobody in the weight category and then the BC Athletic Commission would want you to have X amount of fights. So in the beginning, I was just training. Mm-hmm. There was no desire to compete professionally.
And what weight class do you fight at?
Now I'm fighting at 115, basically anything 125 and under.
Is that 125 is bantam or fly?
I think 125 is fly.
Right. So what would it be underneath that? What's the category called? It's like super fly?
Super fly
yeah.
And then Adam, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
Those are the lightest weight categories there. I'm pretty much the small of the small.
So is there a lot of fights in BC, Canada overall, or do you have to go overseas?
I have to go overseas. That is an issue I'm having at this moment is finding opponents for myself. I'm thankful that I have an opponent now, a very good opponent too.
When are you fighting?
It should be in March.
Do you know the platform or which organization?
World Cup of Muay Thai.
In Bangkok?
Nope. No. It'll be in Calgary.
Okay, Calgary.
This will be a Canadian fight.
Is it kind of like a like a prelim to like a bigger potential like super fight in the future, or?
Honestly, every fight I take, every fight I do is a step closer to a bigger platform, right? So this fight in particular, yes, for me it is a bit serious because there's a lot of talent on this promotion. Not only that, there's also the organization and the owners of this. They're very talented, and I do want to impress them.
So is it going to be broadcast, or is it more like online?
It will be broadcast. I believe it'll be you can stream it off of YouTube or subscribe to them. Right. You can watch it off there.
So do you have a fight name, like a nickname?
Yes. The fight name is the Bumblebee.
Okay. It's not that scary, to be honest.
It's non-threatening.
Right.
Totally non-threatening.
Right.
But when I sting, I sting.
Yeah, no, I can get that. I can see that. So did someone give it to you, or was it self-created?
I was at a gym, and then the way I move, it simulates a bumblebee.
Okay. One
of my coaches was like, you know what? Yes, whenever we spar with you, you're annoying like a bumblebee. You move around, you buzz. So it kind of stuck. So, and especially in one or two of my MMA fights before, if you look at the movement, it was just me buzzing around.
Right.
And that's what my coach would say, just move, always moving around, buzz, just move.
So when you like train, what's the main focus, or how do you get your mindset right?
Wow. Okay. Mindset. Sometimes you got to think about things. Sometimes you just, you have nothing to go with in the beginning and you're listening to music and you have a drive then, right? But I find, staying motivated, thinking about things, feeling emotion is good, right? So, you want to fuel your workouts. I believe that my great workouts are when I'm thinking of things and I'm really digging deep and I feel, so emotion, right? It helps a lot.
Now, what is your, I guess, the why behind becoming a fighter? There's always a reason to everything, right? Like, have you found or what is the cause of this journey? Because to be honest, being a fighter is a very, very, very difficult journey.
It is. Honestly, this journey is a very difficult journey. It's challenging. However, for me, I just enjoy it so much and it gives me all the happiness I want. It doesn't pay well.
Right. And until you make it to the
big leagues.
The big leagues, yeah.
But for me, it's not about the money. It's the enjoyment of this entire martial arts fighting journey, the things I'm learning, picking up, I'm improving my life, right? It's not about the money. It's the enjoyment of this.
It's an ongoing journey, right? So it's always like a quest for ever improvement.
Always. You're always improving in this. And the reason why is you're always learning new techniques, growing, right? Over the last few months, the things I've learned, the things I've grown with, holy, it's immense.
I was just thinking about this, being it's so challenging because you have to always stay motivated. And a lot of times people are motivated by either money, material, status, things of that nature. But I guess being a fighter is a very pure journey in a sense because until you make it to the top of the top, it's all pain. When you're fighting, when you're training, even when you're overcoming just life, right? You got all this stuff you got to do.
Yeah.
In terms of training, fighting, preparing. And on top of that, you have all the other hardships of life.
Yeah.
Dealing with relationships, dealing with another job to your full-time job, right? Fighting is a full-time job. Now you have to do other things to supplement the income and to make yourself able to pursue that. So it's a very courageous journey, I would say.
It's courageous, but like I said, it's hard because, it's what you want out of it, right? You got to commit to what you want, right? You can't do this half-ass, right? If you want to be a fighter, you want to be an athlete, commit to it, be the best, right? In doing so, you'll reap the rewards of it, right? And sometimes you have to make a lot of sacrifices, meaning working a nightlife, right? Just so you could make morning practice, right? Relationships, got to put this off to the side sometimes, right? You know, your body hurts, you're sore, but unfortunately you can't have excuses.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to go, right? You got to train every day, even when you're sore, right?
Now, when was your first pro fight, or when was your first like fight overall?
My first fight, wow, okay. Like, are we talking about?
But no, like organized.
Organized, okay.
Organized fight.
My first fight, organized, it was in Chilliwack. It was right after, I think it was after high school. Because I started training after high school properly. And then about a year after that, I started competing. And it was in Chilliwack. And nobody wanted to fight in Muay Thai or kickboxing at that time. It was weird. So I got...
Do you remember roughly what year?
Probably around 2010.
Okay. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Still going. Yeah. Still competing. But my first fight was definitely about 10 years ago, 2010. Mm-hmm. And it was an MMA fight, oddly.
Were you scared?
I'm always scared.
Scared? Nervous?
It's just normal. You gotta be, you're only human, right? You know, again, emotions, feelings, right? Butterflies in your stomach. Right?
Did you have an adrenaline dump?
Yes, definitely. It's funny because I would always have one of my training partners I'd look at him and be like, oh my God, tell me I got this. And you look at me, it's like, you train with us. You got this.
So how did it go? How did your first fight go overall?
It went well. It was MMA. I won because I listened to my coach right at the last second. I disengaged and I striked the guy. And I won the fight from ref stoppage.
Oh, okay.
So it went well.
If you didn't stop him, was it going to be kind of like a close call?
There was a potential that I could have gotten choked out.
Got it.
So because at that time, my jiu-jitsu wasn't the best or the greatest.
You can manage, but
yes.
Got it.
However, this guy was playing some traps and I kept on feeding into it. So as soon as I disengaged, my coach said, step away.
Like, did they pull guard?
Yeah. Oh, he was totally pulling that kind of stuff. And then he was trying to pull me into some arm bars and triangles. I'm like, kind of fighting it here. And then he's like, get away. Whoop. Strike.
Oh, man. So how did it feel when you won?
It was great. It felt like, I was doing something different. Like, it definitely was like...
were you proud? Were you relieved?
I was pretty proud. Because, you know what? Like, stepping into a ring or a cage, it takes a lot of balls.
100%. 100%. Like, everyone can talk shit, like what they would do or how they would act in a certain circumstance. But until you sign the paperwork, go do the ECG, get the blood test, and actually go fight.
Yeah. Don't forget the fundoscopic eye exam.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Man,
that costs a lot too.
Yeah. But man, I'm happy that you won your first fight. That's always the tough one. Yeah.
You always want to start on a good note, right? So I managed to do that very well. I started on a good note, and you know what? I kept going. Right? Doesn't matter, right? Win, lose, draw, just keep going. So
when is the next fight now?
The next fight, I believe, would be in March.
So you have how many months? There's through 4.5 to train and get there?
Yes. I will start my training camp in January.
So break down what a training camp looks like, because most people, when they hear the word camping, it's kind of like in the forest. They go somewhere exciting.
I wish it was that kind of camping. No. So an ideal fight camp, it's about 6 weeks, right? You want to make sure you get a lot of things into your fight camp. So you got to make sure your diet, hydration, your weight, all that. So you got to make sure you're getting close to your goal, with your weight goal for your fight. On top of that, when you're training, you're going to be doing a lot of sparring, a lot of drilling, pad work, right? Refining skills as well, right? Like you're just drilling things in, right? 6 weeks, it's going to be long. So, you got to taper things in, right? As you're getting closer to the fight day, you're taking things out of that and you're, resting slowly. Look, as you get real close to it, take it easy, right? A lot of people don't rest.
They burn out?
They burn out. I think a lot of people just train too hard and spar too hard. And again, I'm guilty of that too. But, coming back from talents, training's different.
So they're more playful, right? Like
they're more playful. Yeah. They don't go hard in the paint always, right?
Just more movement, like gaining intuition.
Yes.
And gaining that feeling.
Yes. They're going to be fighting pretty frequently there, so they don't need to train hard, right? They train smart there.
Yeah, don't they fight like so many, like if you're a serious Muay Thai fighter, like by the time you're 18, you have like so many fights.
Oh yeah. The guy that I fought had like 100 plus fights. That guy was a tank. Yeah. And I was like impressed because when they announced me, they were like, this guy has X amount of fights and this guy has 100 something, right? And it's like, whoa.
and you're fighting Muay Thai this next fight?
Yes, this fight will be Muay Thai.
And then are your next fights after that going to be mainly Muay Thai, or are you transitioning more MMA down the road?
I'm still going to be keeping it to striking for a bit, but later on I will transition back into MMA.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it's huge now. Like, I was training a long time ago just more for like fitness and just getting the feel for something to do, because like I'm from the island, Vancouver Island, so
yeah,
there's not as much things to do like, as living like in Vancouver. But it gave you like a lot of like discipline, respect for other people, and also gives you like level-headedness.
Yeah,
like when you go and train and like someone punches you in the face, it makes you like more humble and just you're more chill.
That too, yeah. Like, honestly, like, it teaches you a lesson, right? Like, it really humbled me, right? Like, I was not like this before. I wasn't this humble, right? I was always like really angry, and people would look at me like, look at you, man. I'm like, what? Look at me, what?
You're on edge?
I was always on edge. I was such a horrible person before. And after training, holy.
So did that come from somewhere, or like?
I don't know. I was always angry. It was just, there was always rage, right? Even when I was street fighting. So I needed to put it somewhere, and I put it towards this. And next thing you know is I improved in myself. I became humble, right? And that's one thing that's always being said is you're always humble. Well, why wouldn't I be? Right?
For sure. Now, do you think you being angry, is that more nature or nurture?
There's a monster in me. There's a monster in me. That's all I know.
But like overall, like you had a pretty good childhood upraising, things of that nature, or is it something from there that you got that energy from?
Growing up, life was difficult, right? Everybody has a hard time, right? Everybody grows up differently. It's just the way I grew up a little bit difficult as well. It was hard growing up. I had my fair share of things to deal with. Bullying, right? Getting pushed into lockers, right? Being forced to fight, being small and getting picked on. It was, it fueled me a bit.
Got it. So then you kind of like held that energy for a while, and then
yeah. You
couldn't let it go somewhere, right?
Yes. And then now it's fueled, right? Again, there's somewhere to put it, right? And there's fuel in me, there's energy, there's feeling. So why not do something great with this?
Do you consider yourself like an artist? Well, obviously a martial artist, like, but the term like artist in terms of just spending your whole lifetime getting good, like at a discipline or a craft?
I feel I'm more of an artist. Because you know what? This is the one thing I've been consistently doing, improving. And it's like I'm improving a skill, but I feel like it's also improving me as well. And I still feel that I'm just at the beginning of it every day. It's like I'm just a beginner every day.
Right. So you got like the will and the energy to keep on learning, and you're not close to knowing it all.
Every day is like a reset for me, right? I just want to drill, refine things, know more, right? And it's, every day is like a new battle.
How would you describe your fighting style or your energy when you're fighting?
My fight style, I would say pretty aggressive. I would say I can brawl.
So do you prefer like more tactical, or do you like back and forth?
Back and forth. I like to brawl.
So would you say you're an emotional fighter, or like do you thrive off emotion or energy?
Yes, I thrive off of energy. Once I feel that once I do hit you,
Mm-hmm.
and if I know it hurts, I get more energy off that. Once I know that I hurt you and I see it, right, I get excited.
So like, how do you know someone's hurt, or like how can you read it?
So pretty much, you just look at their face. Their face will tell, or they won't do the same thing twice or 3 times, right? That's how you can tell. Like if they don't like it, they won't be there, right? Or if they are there, it'll tell on their face. Or after a while, there'll be a red mark on their leg.
Right. So I guess in Muay Thai, is it more predominantly like leg strikes, or is it a mixture of whatever you can land?
It's a mixture. There's people that specialize in something like more leg kicks, more body kicks, more elbows, right? There's many different kinds of fighters, right?
Well, what does the crowd, what do they like? Obviously like knockouts, but do they prefer like head kicks or elbows or strikes?
It's preference. Everybody likes something. I would say I personally would like knockouts.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like a ongoing battle, right? Like a chess match, like a chess match.
What was your craziest win or your craziest knockout?
I would say my left elbow knockout.
So how would you set it? So left elbow meaning like something like that?
So this one was called Tadmala.
Okay.
It's just down elbow. The way I set it up, I believe it was a lead teep to the thigh. It was slightly about 2 inches above the knee. Yeah. I teeped his leg, came down, and I threw that elbow.
Was it instant knockout, or was it just wobbly?
Instant knockout.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It was pretty explosive. Was
it like near the ropes, or was it more like center of the...
It was near the ropes. After that, I threw like a hook, and I kind of was holding him, and I was like, oh, okay. Kind of feel heavy. And then...
Dropped him?
Yeah.
Was he out for a while, or did it...
Oh, he was out. He was out.
And where was that? Where'd you fight for that fight?
That was in Thailand. That was in Ubon Ratchathani.
How long ago?
I would say 2 months ago.
Okay, that's really recent. So 2 months ago was your last fight, and then your next fight is in March. So that's what, 6 months-ish in between you like to fight?
Yeah.
So twice a year, is that your aim?
No. I'm making up for lost time here. Right? Oh, I'm hungry.
So ideally, how many times do you like to fight?
It's funny because before I wouldn't fight this frequently. Now I'm fighting as much as I can. It's just I would like to fight on this promotion next, and they've given me an opportunity to fight in March. I'm going to definitely take that. But if I do have the opportunity, I will fight as much as possible within the month. And right now, coming from Thailand, I was able to fight twice a month.
That's really good.
Yes. I would like to fight twice a month at least.
So if you continue fighting locally and then you make it to one of these international organizations, which organization would you like to fight for?
Definitely one championship, I would say.
Any particular reason?
A lot of my favorite fighters are on one championship. Realistically also, because I'm such a smaller person, I believe that would be ideal for me. And also, if they're in Asia.
Right. So they're mainly Asia focused, and they do things a little bit different than the UFC or LATHL. They mix kind of events together. Sometimes it would be full MMA. Sometimes it'll be kickboxing one round, MMA the next round. So they do very unique things. So I don't think they're trying to compete directly with the UFC belt.
They're not, no.
Or any of those other big organizations in North America, but they're trying to do their own niche, but their own just kind of event style.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. They really support their fighters and athletes. And you know what? Right now, my eyes are on them, and I do want to be on one championship.
So how long do you think it'll take you if you do like, if you fight your next few fights and you win them all? How long potentially will it take to get to one?
1-2 years. Within 1 or 2 years, I believe I'll be in one championship.
Or just like 1 or 2 spectacular knockouts that you might get scouted or spotted.
I wish, but I still got to put in work even after those 2. 1 or 2 knockouts won't put me up there. It doesn't mean anything. It's that hard work, that consistent grind, right? That's what's going to be putting me up there.
So like now more than ever, like it's very attention focused now. Like a lot of fighters are like posting on social media and kind of like creating buzz that way.
Yeah.
So there's this whole new element of that business to it now. It's like the more shit you talk, the more attention you get, the more potential viewerships, the more people want to watch your fights.
Yeah. That is one aspect of it, right? Look at some of the fighters and athletes like Conor McGregor, and Nate Diaz, right? All these people, right? It's one side of it, the entertainment, the marketing, right? So me personally, I've really just focused on training and fighting.
Yeah. So you're more like a GSP type cat?
Yeah. Just
let the fighting talk.
Exactly. Let the fighting talk, invest in yourself, work on yourself, improve yourself, refine everything, and just go for it, right? You don't need to be consistently fighting that fight on social media when you're going to be fighting that fight in the ring or cage.
And most of like the fighters in like one, they're not as like on social media as like the North American fighters, right?
Yes. I feel like it's different because, on one side you get people posting about entertainment and, they want to fight. Or on the other side, you're getting the business aspect of it, right? Like, look at how Chatri is doing things. It's really good. He's like a really good entrepreneur, and he opened up this, amazing fight league, one championship that we can fight on, right? And the social media there is actually, thinking about it, it makes me actually want to fight for them, because if you look at it, it inspires me to work for them.
Are they like related to any of the other organizations at all, like Ryzen or
Nope.
Pride, any of those?
Nope. They just have some of the other fighters from there.
Right. Yeah, super interesting how there's so many fight organizations everywhere.
Yes. But here in Vancouver or Canada, there's not a lot.
No. Is Battlefield still around?
Yeah, Battlefield is.
Actually, they called me once. Well, they messaged me.
Oh, wow.
This is a long time ago.
So you wanted to fight on Battlefield too?
So what happened was a long time ago.
All right, let's hear your story now.
So a long time ago, I think in 2008, I fought for Bulldog. So that's my only professional fight ever.
Okay, you fought on Bulldog.
Bulldog in Prince George, way back.
Okay.
And then I wasn't active or anything, but I guess, when they do an event, there's a contact list and there's all these people potentially you can pull from.
Yeah.
And I think they messaged me in 2013, 14. I haven't trained at all. At that time, I was like, yeah, that's a good pass. Easy pass.
Hey, you want to fight? Just come on in.
Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of cool. I think they wanted me to fight 135, but I was I'm way heavier now.
Yeah.
I'm walking around 180. And when you train, it's easy to keep off the weight.
Yes.
But now that I work more as an entrepreneur, working on a desk.
Yes.
So I'm not actively walking around.
That's dangerous when you're working at a desk. Yeah. It's okay, now I'm here for X amount of hours and I can't get up.
Well, that's the thing. What happens? There's a lot of muscle in your glutes, your back that you just stop using because you're sitting so much.
Yeah, exactly.
And I noticed that, and I actually went to see a specialist to help me get some of these muscles back and work out on them more regular because of the amount of hours I'm logging sitting down on my desk.
Yeah.
So it's a real thing.
It is. That's why I refuse to do a desk job. Refuse. I'll stand for hours. Right. I can't do a desk job.
Well, I do stand most of the time now because I was sitting desk job.
Oh, okay. Those are new. Those are in.
Yeah, but it's crazy though. But fighting I'm way past that. It's just, you have a small window.
Yeah.
And then you got to just keep building momentum. It's too dangerous now to be in and out.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it takes a toll on your body as well, right? And at some point, you got to figure it out if you really want to commit to it or not, right? I've had those thoughts too. It's like, do I really want to do this? Am I built for this? Am I for this? Am I, I really understand what I'm going to put my body through, right? I won't be able to walk at some point, or, I'm going to be limping for the rest of my life, right? These are things that are going to cross your mind as you're going to understand if you want to do this or not.
What's the worst damage you took?
Left knee. I messed up my left knee pretty bad. Tore my MCL, ACL, meniscus, and partially broke my tibia.
From training or from like getting kicked?
Training.
Okay.
Somebody sprawled on me really hard.
It's so crazy, like how much damage you get in training, and especially if you're training with like a group.
Yeah.
How like that's so dangerous sometimes. Like
yes.
So back in the day when I was training, we're just like rolling around. And some dude popped his knee. Oh. And it's just like drilling, but like someone else just was like in the way. Yeah. Or they fell backward, and it's just like you heard this huge pop. It's like, man.
And then there's like utter silence in the room. It's like pop. It was him.
Yeah, and he knows he's like fucked.
Oh, of course. As soon as my knee was gone, I yelled right away. I was like in utter pain.
How long were you out for?
12 months.
Okay.
That was a hard 12 months.
What'd you do in 12 months?
Cry. When you can't train, it's hard.
Did you gain a lot of weight in that time, or was it?
Yep. A lot of weight. In the beginning, I never ate because I was upset.
Yeah. Like more depressed or angry or sad?
Depressed. The one thing I always did and I wanted was to train and get better and work out. And when you can't do it, it's hard. Yeah. Right?
It's not only an outlet, but it's like the way you like burn that energy and like the way you feel just refreshed.
Yeah, it's how I feel better. And not just that, it's not that I couldn't train. Not just that. It was like I couldn't even get up. I couldn't move. I remember there were like I couldn't get up off the bed. It was hard. So there were days of I wouldn't eat in the beginning because there were plates of food that my mother would leave me by the door, and it would just pile up because I couldn't get it. And then I would just go to the washroom limp, and I would just walk through the plate of food because I couldn't bend over. I was in a cast.
Oh man. Right?
Me going to the washroom was like 10 minutes. Going to the washroom, it would just be like limping, walking.
And is your mom supportive of your aspirations as a fighter?
More so now. In the beginning, she hated it. She's like, why do you do this? It's a horrible sport where you're just punching and kicking and damage. Mm-hmm. And now she understands that, it keeps me happy.
Keeps you out of trouble?
It does keep me out of trouble. You know what? I'd rather, there's street fighting or just putting your, energy and talent where it should be. Right?
And getting more skill every day and becoming an expert over time.
Of course. I'm happy to say that I've improved my life significantly with this skill set or, learning this or, I've been involved with this one thing, martial arts, fighting and Muay Thai. And, it's not just fighting on the streets. It's in the ring and cage as well. And it has significantly improved my life.
So your beard, is that something new or is that something you always had? And is that a scare tactic?
I've always had the beard. I've always had this, yes.
And then like the hairstyle, is that new or is this kind of like the package that you've created?
The hairstyle is new. I started coloring it up a couple of months ago.
Now is that more for flair, more for like the kind of like winning over the crowd or standing out, or is it more just a personal thing that you wanted to do?
It's just a personal thing. Just color it. Sometimes you want to just treat yourself. Sometimes you want to change the way you look a little bit.
Have you ever gone blonde? You ever watched Dragon Ball Z?
Oh, I love that. Are you kidding me?
Go Super Saiyan.
Are you kidding me? I love Dragon Ball Z. I grew up watching that as a kid.
Yeah.
At some point, I think I'm like a Dragon Ball Z character in my head.
Yeah, man. Dude, I love Dragon Ball. It's probably one of the best cartoons of all time.
Oh, yeah. You know, and you think about it, like when I was younger, I competed in those tournaments, those Tiger Bombs or Western Canadians. I'm just like, you know, I'm like Oob in that tournament with Goku. Right?
What's that tournament called again? The something tournament. Yeah.
I can't remember. Was it the Tournament of Champions?
Something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, it's always fun. Like, you know, you gotta make it fun. You can't always be serious when you train. So sometimes you gotta be a, you know, Dragon Ball Z figure.
Yeah. So are you mainly staying here locally to train for your next fight, or are you going somewhere else to train with other partners?
I'm staying here locally to train for this fight. I definitely want to focus and stay here for this fight camp and just refine everything here, because I have a game plan of going to Thailand again later on. But
after the fight?
After the fight, yes. But for now, for this fight camp, I would like to be here and bunker down.
For the fight, how many rounds are you training for, and how many minutes each round?
I'm training for five rounds. I'll be training for five rounds and 3 minutes each.
Now, is there like a tactical strategy you typically approach each round with, or is it more whatever openings you get, you go for?
Honestly, now, first 2 rounds, I'd like to understand and play it slow.
Like calculate, like get into data, get into information?
Like a chess match, right? Yeah. Understanding the fight, understanding my weapons and his weapons, right? In the first few rounds.
Because I think like as you get more skilled as a professional and you evolve as a fighter, you become more patient.
Yes.
You know, like when you first start as a beginner, it's all about how can you use your physical. Yeah. How can you overwhelm somebody? But like when everyone gets to a certain level, you cannot do that no more. Right? It's more tactical. It's more like you got to analyze.
Yes. There's one thing about me is, you know, you can be a tough fighter or a brawler, right? But at some point, you got to be a smart fighter, right?
And you see that a lot too. Like if you see like fights when it's just like a street fight, they're just throwing everything.
Yeah.
Both dudes are just running in, hitting like with any random hit that they can get.
Yeah.
But if you find someone that's trained, you cannot do that, right? Because they'll just counter you with like, you know, some good shots and that's it.
Exactly. Like when you fight somebody that actually knows how to hit or understands the fight game, it's dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous.
It's dangerous. Like knowing how to punch somebody, it hurts.
Yeah. And also like just how much risk you take, right? Like.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of risk.
Yeah, because like just like in the video games, you don't have so much life.
Energy bar, right?
Yeah, you got energy bar.
Save it.
So who was your toughest fight against so far?
Wow.
Like, I know they're all tough, but like who was the person, or like which fight was just like mentally draining, like, and just overall tough?
I would say the biggest fight for me was, I believe, Dion Wu. I fought this opponent named Dion Wu. Mentally draining, yes. There were a lot of contributing factors to this fight. People thought I wouldn't win. A lot of people thought I wouldn't win.
So you were the underdog?
I was definitely the underdog. Another contributing factor was that this guy was a high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner. He was a very good purple belt jiu-jitsu, and his jiu-jitsu coach was a very high-level jiu-jitsu coach, a very good one. You know, and he competes in one championship, Viviano Fernandez.
I heard of that name. I think, didn't he used to fight out of Vancouver?
He's training out of like Revolution.
Revolution. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. So that was his jiu-jitsu coach. And another contributing factor was that this guy was a lot bigger than me.
How much bigger?
He didn't make weight.
So do you guys do catch weight, or was he just
catch weight? Now, because the fight wasn't supposed to happen and I wanted it to happen because I had really trained hard for this. Like I said, mentally, the cards were stacked against me. And even when the cards were stacked against me, people told me that you're not going to win. They're like, you can't win.
So they weren't believers, eh?
Oh.
Just realist at the time?
Yeah. Yeah, like that. I believe that was my toughest fight.
And how did it go?
magically I won.
How'd you do it?
Stuck to the game plan.
So is it more striking, keep distance?
More striking, keep, anytime he goes, tries to take it to the ground, get back to the feet, keep it standing. I had my, go-tos for striking. I had some specific weapons just to, put that extra oomph of pain into him.
Was he versed in striking, or he do a little bit, but like
he did a little bit. Oh, he clipped me with a punch. He got me with some good punches. He punched he was a solid puncher as well. So when he hit, and again, they're MMA gloves, they're 4 ounce, right? Ouch. They hurt. So when he hit, I actually felt like, man, this guy knows how to hit a little bit. So I was like, gotta stay away from those. Yeah, but that was definitely a challenging fight for me.
3 round or 5 round?
That one was 3 rounds.
And how did it end?
I won right in the end, unanimous decision.
So you pretty much kept the distance. Did he take you down at all?
Oh, of course, he took me down. He had 2 beautiful takedowns on me.
Which way? Pull guard or no?
No, I threw a kick and he shot under and he turned the corner and took me down beautifully.
Wow.
I applaud him on that.
How'd you get out? Did you reverse it?
I stayed in position, waited it out, and as soon as I could...
Probably created some distance and just kind of like swept out, or...
He took my back and then I turned... After I turned the corner... No, he took my back, I turned into him, and it was a reset, and then I created some space and then we got up.
Okay.
The ref stood him up, yeah.
Oh, okay, solid, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was an interesting fight.
And where was that?
That was in Abbotsford. That was for Mamba Fight League.
Are they still around?
They are. They just recently went right now. I think it was yesterday.
I'm so like when you're training, you're always into every fight, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get off fight, you kind of just like it's not that you don't care as much, or you just don't have as much like time to be as invested. That's
true. Sometimes you don't want to think about that other side of it, right? And you don't have that time to invest in it. Me now, I'm hungry to just see who's competing and the technique level, right?
So do you watch a lot of film on everyone, or?
Yeah, that's what I do. I commute via transit, man.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what I do on transit, film study. Right?
Now, do you take notes or you just put mental notes?
I take notes. Again, being a smart fighter, right? Improving things, being a better athlete as well, right? Writing things out on paper, it'll give you a little bit of clarity, right?
Now, how do you take those notes, and how do you implement them, or how do you put them into your daily routine to constantly remind you of these things to stay away from?
For example, today I was thinking about pendulum kicks.
Can you explain that if people don't know what a pendulum kick is?
You're going to load your weight on one leg and you're going to put it back, and you're just going to do a pendulum motion and rotate your hips and throw a kick.
Okay.
So, for example, I was thinking about that motion, right? What's the tell? How does somebody read this? How is he going to load his weight? And if he does, which 2 ways is he going to pendulum? To the left or to the right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when he does this, what is he going to do? And where is it going to hit me? Right? Because when you pendulum like that, you can only go so high. It's such an explosive movement, right? So I'm constantly thinking about this. What is he doing? Why is he doing it? Where is he hitting it on me? Right? These are the notes, and then I implement it on somebody in front of me. I get them to drill it with me, and then I see my outcomes, right? The possible outcomes. What is he going to do? And what am I going to do? How do I stop him from doing this? If he's going to throw a pendulum kick, what's my basic defense, right? Am I going to block, or do I not have to be there? Can I take a step back and just not even block, right?
Yeah, there's so much to think about when you're fighting, so much to analyze, there's offense and defense, and also just managing space, distance, and emotion.
Yeah, honestly, more thinking about fighting now, it's so interesting because I never used to think about it like this.
Were you more just like, I'm just gonna hit this dude and like he's gonna fall?
That's what I was before. I was like, hey, you know what? We're gonna fight. Cool. I'm gonna hit you. You're gonna hit me. It's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Man, now that there's curiosity, there's intention. Like I said, feeling.
Yeah.
You know, I need to feel these things happen in front of me, right? I'm curious to see my outcomes or what his outcomes are. It's not like, hey, we're gonna hit each other. This is more to it now. Right? There's methodology, there's intention, right?
And there's also levels to this, right? Once you climb the levels, every little bit is like more methodical. And
yes. Like it has to be, right? Like again, when you're fighting a smart fighter, man, it's going to be tough, right? You can't just brawl these people, right? When you fight somebody who's been in the game or a smart fighter or an athlete, they're going to have proper intention behind every punch or every step, right? And you're going to have to understand it.
Do you ever go into autopilot, or do you just forget sometimes like what happened in that round?
Oh yeah. I go into autopilot. Again, sometimes when you get hit so hard or you don't like it that it changes your game plan, right? You need to break that.
So how do you remain calm if you get hit?
You have like a reset. You know, if you get hit, get on a bike. You know, move your feet, get out of the way, reset, right? I used to bunker down before. When I got hit, I would just whoop, hit right back, right? So now it's just like, you know, when I'm in that autopilot mode, I need to get out of it. Most of the time it's like, hey, you need to disengage, strike, right? You need to create space, or, you know, you need to, for me, it's like also, hey, you need to be more active. You need to just, you know, he's pressing. You need to change the pace now. Because once I get out of my head, I get more volume and then I can land more.
You can reset, get your computer back going.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes you just got to stay busy, right? Not let the other guy get his rhythm and timing and hits.
And when you're fighting, can you always hear everything from your coaches, or no? Or does it get blocked out?
That's a funny question, because I've been through it, and in the beginning, I could not hear my coaches. I would be fighting the fight, and I would be looking to my coach's corner, trying to listen to them. And they'd be like, look at the guy. And I'd just be like, huh? Now, there's a way. If you can't hear your coach or your corner, bring the fight there.
Okay.
There's a way. One of my coaches, you know, he said, there's a way. You got to find a way. If you really are in a ring or cage and you're fighting and you winning or, you know, surviving depends on you listening to your corner, you'll find a way. Right? Especially when you're getting hit or punched or elbowed or kneed and you don't like it. And that's your survival there. That's one thread. That's all you got. You got to find a way to listen. You'll hold in on it.
Have you ever been like cut so bad that you had to stop the fight ever?
Yes. I recently just got cut with an elbow on the forehead, right on the dome. Right.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it got cut right there.
Like elbow, I'm assuming.
Yes, it was a side elbow, so boom. And wow, it just split open. Yep. It split open, and it was just, the head will just bleed. Yeah. So it was just...
Did they allow it to go for a little bit, or did they stop it right away?
It's funny. As soon as I got cut, I knew I got cut, and because I saw the blood pouring, and the ref was just like this, ready to stop us, because after he cut me and I knew it was pouring, I ended up in a clinch. And then I thought the ref is like looking at us and he's like gonna listen and stop us. And I'm like, okay, this is it. He's gonna stop us now. Damn it. He separated us and he's like, fight. And I was like, what? Now I gotta fight this guy. Okay. So I keep fighting. And by the end of it, he never stopped it.
Did you make it to the next round?
I made it to all the rounds with that cut.
Was it still leaking the whole time?
It stopped leaking later on. But then in the end, like in the 5th round, he ended up hitting it again. And then it just started pouring out again. So then I had to get stitches.
Oh, man. How long was the stitches in?
The stitches were in about 10 days. So I was on the plane with him here back. I know. It looked funny. it looked really funny. Just like my head cut open and I'm on a plane and I'm just like, people looking at me and they're like, are you okay? I'm okay.
How long did it take to heal? Like a month?
No. Real quick. 10 days. Like after 10 days, I pulled it out and it was fine.
So like now you're fighting, is that 100% recovered, or is that going to be always like a spot where it can be reopened?
It's going to be a spot that'll be reopened because of the scar tissue, right? Scar tissue will open up easily, right? So it is a target for people.
So I noticed that you don't wrestle as much because you do from your ears. Because when you do jiu-jitsu or wrestling, they got the cauliflower ears.
Yeah, on one ear I don't have cauliflower. The other one I do.
Right.
Yeah. I used to do a lot of like jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA. And that's where I got it from. But outside of that.
Did you ever have to
drain it?
Yeah.
No. You know what? Instead of draining it, I would just trade. Just, it's going to be tender after and, it's going to be sore. But guess what? I still have to train.
Right.
So, you know what? Let it solidify because I'm still doing this.
Yeah. So have you ever thought about like life after fighting, or is that something that's way too far out of the future?
I have, honestly. Right now, I'm 31.
Is 31 considered like early still, late, middle, or is that more late? Or does it depend on the sport?
In the middle. Like I would say I still got about 6 years, but I'm still going to keep going.
A lot of dudes do well in their 40s, right? Like you got guys in the UFC and
there's some talented athletes out there that are older, yes, but
I think Glover Teixeira became a champ at like 41.
Oh God, no! I'm gonna be a champ real quick.
Yeah.
This is happening sooner than later. That's for sure.
You're manifesting that?
Just watch.
Yeah. I'm watching fight, man. I'm gonna be cheering for you.
Oh hell yeah! I'm telling you, there's a shitstorm coming. That's for sure.
So this year you're gonna fight at least twice, or how many times do you think you can fight in a year? I guess it all depends on like the condition after each fight.
Honestly, March will be in my fight here locally in Calgary. After that, when I travel to Thailand, I believe I'll be fighting twice a month.
So when you fight, is everything on round one record? Like, or when you travel like Bangkok or Asia, there's like a different organization over there?
Yeah, so there's a different organization down there. So when we fight, we fill out paperwork. It goes to a commission down there.
Okay.
Here, there's the BC Athletic Commission. And then the coaches that pair you up for the fights and the matchmakers, if they wanted to, they could look into your international record and how extensive the fight is.
Right. Man, I'm rooting for you for your next fight, and if I can find a stream, I would do my best to stream it and see how it is.
It'll be fun, that's for sure. You're gonna find a stream. You're gonna want to watch this.
So do you train with a team here, or are you like an independent person, or how does it work for someone that doesn't really know too much about life as a fighter? Like, can you walk us through it?
So for me, I have a team. Yes. I wanted a team because the structure, right, and the vibe, and these people are amazing. So these people are going to help me excel to the next level, and I'd love to just be with them. So now, having said being in a fight team, it's going to boost me up, right? So yes, a fight team is important. How many guys on your team? Or women, there's some girls that do fight. There's some good people. I have very high level people in my fight team. Like they're very accomplished. If you look at what they've done and who they've competed and where they've competed, right? There's quite a bit of them. There's about 10 of them, and they're consistently training, fighting high level, right? And their technique level is very high as well. So does everyone kind of go all over the place to learn a new technique and bring it back to the team, or how does that typically work? Everybody has something to offer, right? Again, these high level people are training with other high level people, right? They're always bringing something to the team.
It's kind of like when you're an entrepreneur, you meet like and you do like masterminds with like all these other entrepreneurs, and you take a little bit of theirs and you share a little bit there.
Sharing is caring. You got to be good, right? So what? Someone has like a technique, share it. It's going to be put into your body. It'll be you, right? It's not going to be the same technique as somebody, right?
It's crazy how techniques and certain styles evolve and are passed down throughout the years.
Yeah.
And how like more things evolve. Do you think fighters now are better than ever? Or is it more like everyone is just overall more exposed to like the training is the kind of getting more level?
It depends on what your intention is, right? Like, again, a lot of some fighters don't really want to fight. They're not in it for the fight, right? They're just in it for the social media aspect.
The lifestyle?
Yeah, the lifestyle. They want that. I'm a fighter, fame, glory, right? But again, when you get punched in the face like this consistently, you learn real quick.
Yeah, you want to do it or not,
you don't want to do, right? So, it's what your intention is out of it, right? If you really want to commit to this, you'll do it, right? Not a lot of people have what it takes, honestly, but, I'm not saying that like they can't fight, they can fight, but it's, like I said, it's how far you want to go into it.
Well, I think that's the same thing with like any endeavor or any profession. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be someone that works for themselves, you want to be like an actor.
Yeah.
There's commitment levels to reach,
exactly
the higher skill sets and abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to like put in the time.
Of course, right? Like you can't just, want to win every fight and, you got to put in the time and effort, right? You're not always going to get, those title shots or, easy fights, right? You got to put in the time. You always have to put in the time.
When I was young and like in high school, you don't realize how much time things take and how fast 5 or 10 years go by. And like to get good at like one thing, it takes so much like investment over these like years to actually become, a master or like a pro at pro level. Because there's so much like nuances and there's always like, because the mass people, they always get to like a certain level until it becomes like less exciting or boring, and then they fall off.
And then
and then the people that are really committed, they continue, and then they're the pain.
And then the pain is like, oh, I can't. Okay, I'm just gonna sit this one out. I'll chill out.
Has there been a moment like where you were ever unsure about your path, or was it always, regardless of what the outcome was, you kept like, this is what you want to do?
There were times I thought about it. Like I said, there were times I thought about, do I really want to do this, right? Like after I broke my knee, I had to rehab and look at it, because if I did this again, or even 3 times at least, I'm not going to be walking properly when I'm old, right? So I had to think about this, and it did come across my mind. When I actually sparred again, the same person that broke my knee, it was emotionally, it broke me, because I started crying and I was like, do I really want to do this? Because, if I really commit to this, there is a chance that this can happen again and I won't walk, right? So at that moment, I did want to do this, and I just told myself.
So the desire, like that inner why is like what kept you going, huh?
Yeah, definitely. It was satisfying knowing that I wanted to do this, right? Knowing that I was going to be broken, right? That's all I wanted, just to train, fight, work out.
The hero's journey.
I want that warrior fight, right? Like, I was put in that position, and in that moment, I really wanted this, and I still want it, and I'm hungrier than ever.
Yeah. So this is what keeps you going. Just the hunger, like the.
Yeah, it's that hunger. It's that wanting to get better. It's gonna improve my life. You know, I want to improve my life. I want to improve my technique. I want to get better. I'm hungry. I want to compete, right? I want to put everything I learn into competition, right? I want to be a better fighter. I want to be a better athlete, right?
Now, is there like a part of you that just wants to be the best, like, and that be part of your drive, or do you want to just be as best as you can be and just live this lifestyle?
Of course, I want to be the best I can be. There's other people that are putting in hard work as well, and there's other people that are putting in harder work as well, right? So obviously, I'm going to be the best I can be, but I want to be the best, aggressive, little fighter out of Vancouver, Canada. I want to be that guy.
So when I look at you, you actually don't look that light. Like,
there's layers.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah, because I mean, you look my size, right? But then, like, I'm more fluffy, of course.
I'm not in my fight camp yet. I'm still eating.
So where do you walk around at?
Right now, I'm walking around 118.
So and you fight at 115?
115, 122.
So you don't have to lose too much weight then.
No.
So that's a nice thing.
And if I have to lose weight, it's doable. It's easy. Like,
is the fight like weight cut hard for you? What's the diet like?
Honestly, I can eat anything I want. I'm always underweight for my fights.
That's lucky. I know. Did you have a post fight like routine or like things you like to eat, like a pizza?
Just eat clean. After you weigh in, you want to eat clean. You don't want to eat pizzas and burgers because, again, you're performing tomorrow, right? You want to eat clean, perform clean.
And the weigh-ins the day before or day of?
Here they're day before. In Thailand, you can weigh in the day of. Yeah,
because I heard like when you fight Muay Thai, it's more like sometimes they do day of just to make it more fair.
Yeah. So in Thailand, they weighed me once. They only weighed me once. I only had to weigh in once for all my fights.
Wow. So they could just know by looking at you?
Yeah, pretty much I was just like, you're good.
Do you see a lot more like people coming into Muay Thai now or?
Yes. I definitely feel more people are doing Muay Thai. It's getting bigger and bigger here in Canada, right? And that's part of the reason why I want to fight on this next promotion is it's getting bigger, right? And I want to be the one on that show and in Canada, right? And I want to be known for this fight. And that's why Muay Thai is getting bigger and bigger. And I have to go somewhere I have to go all the way to Thailand to compete, right? It's not here completely yet, right? But it is getting bigger.
Like after this next fight, are you going to fight on the same promotion or is it going to be a different promotion like the next fight after?
When I come back?
Yeah. So you fight this fight and then you're going to go to Asia, Thailand for a bit. And then afterwards, is it going to be a domestic or international fight?
International. I'm going to be staying in Thailand for a bit to learn a lot of Muay Thai because I feel that staying for 3 months in Thailand, I learned a lot.
Which gym and which area is it? Because I'm going to be going to Bangkok for a few weeks here. And I just want to train just for fitness, only for fitness.
Where I was staying, it was called Ubon Ratchathani, right? So it's about 6-7 hours away from Bangkok of a drive, right? Or you can take a plane, right? The drive, you see things, the plane, real quick.
Yeah, like an hour?
Yeah, an hour and 15, 20 minutes. It's not long. So, where I stayed, it was called Red Ant Village. It was like a Red Ant Village.
So Red Ant Village?
Yeah. It was called Red Ant Village. Because
there's red ants?
There's a lot of red ants. And that
makes sense.
I trained on a farm. It was like a rice farm. Like it was really ghetto.
Yeah.
Like the owner lived there. There was a farm. There were cows, right? I would go on my run and there would be cows just in the middle of the road, right? It was pretty rustic.
And how long did you stay last time?
3 months.
So is the next time you're going to go for another 3 months or?
My next time I go to Thailand, I want to stay for 9 months.
Just to completely train, or more like train and fight?
Train and fight. Anytime I go anywhere, I'm gonna be training. Period. And if I'm training, I might as well fight.
That's true.
Right.
You're putting in the work.
Yeah. And it's a great opportunity for me to get my face and my name known somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Either way, I'm training. Might as well just spend 15 minutes in a ring or cage or half an hour and fight.
So is there any part of like your mindset, like in the back of your mind somewhere, where it's like you're doing this partly for glory?
Again, that's one aspect of it, right? There is a bit of the glory.
Yeah.
But again,
because like I guess in all warriors, they want to have some glory, right? Obviously, fighting somewhere, conquering.
Yes.
It's a part of conquering, something like, especially you want to fight in spectacular fashion.
Yes.
And dominating it.
So I guess my glory would be just fighting a very aggressive fight, weaponizing my punches, knees, kicks, elbows in a disgusting fashion where it's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Right. That's my glory. That's what I want, is when I put my weapons on you, I want you to feel them with proper intention.
And now when you're going into a fight and you're looking at, or you're thinking about things, do you like think about how it's going to end? Like, do you typically see like in your mind how you would like it to end? Or are you just more like open to anything that can happen?
I'm more open to anything that can happen, especially coming back from Thailand again, understanding the game, right? It's nice and slow, right? Can't just run into it now. Being a smart fighter, right?
When you train and you're hitting pads, you feel good about you get these good punches and these sounds.
Yeah.
When you punch someone in the head, like, how does that feel? Like,
it's so satisfying. The feeling of landing a solid punch on someone's like face, right? It's so satisfying. Like, I can't describe it, but it's like, you know what? Here, how about this? It's like Christmas.
Yeah.
You open up a box and your gift's there. There you go.
So that type of satisfaction.
Yes.
Knowing that you intended to throw something and it landed cleanly.
Money. So satisfying, right? And you know what? It's your hard work, right? You refining that shot, that cross, that kick, right? And when it lands, it's money, right? And then if something isn't broken, you don't gotta fix it. Land it again, go again, and you get excited.
Now, like, if people are very interested in like learning more about you, like you as a fighter, where can they find you? Like, are you on social media yet, or are you still getting into the social media scene?
So I'm slowly getting into the social media scene now. I haven't really been focusing on that so much. Now it's a focus of mine. And yes, I am on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, so do you know your handle for your?
So you can easily find me on Instagram at my name, BP Nanara. It's not that hard. I'm a local Canadian athlete out of Vancouver, Canada, right? So
when you travel and you fight, do you say that you're a Canada, Vancouver-based fighter?
Yes.
So you're fighting out of Vancouver, BC? Canada?
Yes. Anytime I compete, I represent Canada. So I am a Canadian athlete, right? I'm very proud to be Canadian, and I represent myself as a Canadian athlete.
Okay, that's amazing. Because I think Canada overall is like, we're getting better at more sports than just hockey.
Of course.
A few years ago, we even won an NBA championship. So things are progressing here.
Slowly but surely. My main focus is as long as they get Muay Thai better here, I'm happy.
Is there a channel, or is it mainly just on YouTube now that you can find more fights?
There's no channel here right now. Like, I wish there was a channel. Like when you go to Thailand and you turn on the TV, they literally have like channel 7 with just Muay Thai, or they have, channel 32. They don't have like all martial arts on it. I wish we had that channel here.
So if you weren't a fighter, like, hypothetically, what type of career do you think you would have gone for if you weren't a fighter?
Law enforcement.
Like, do you like the authority, or more just the training aspect of it and doing good?
For law enforcement?
Yeah.
Law enforcement, it was just to do good. I wanted to make a difference, right? For when I wanted to be a police officer, I really wanted to help people, right? And again, I came up from a time when things were very difficult, right? And my growing up was hard. So I saw all this and I really wanted to make it easier for everybody because I didn't want people to deal with the same things I saw. So I wanted to make that difference. But somehow or way, my career path changed into
Professional fighting?
exactly being this fighter and athlete. So I find that honestly, just by working out with people, making them feel good, listening to them, hearing what their concerns and problems are, is good enough.
You ever think about coaching? Like,
Of course.
like life after fighting?
Of course, in some form or way, I'm not going to be able to fight, and I still want to fight to the very end, right? And I've thought about it, and I do want to coach, and I do want to have a successful gym in the future.
Do you have a name for your gym?
Ooh.
Have you thought about it? Bumblebee Gym?
Something around the lines of that. The hornet's nest. No, the bumblebee's nest.
Yeah.
No.
The honey pot?
The honey pot. Okay. We can go Binderpaul's Playhouse.
Yeah, you do that too. Yeah, for sure. So BP, like we're gonna wrap up pretty soon here. Like, you know, sell your stuff here. Where can people find you, and what's the event? Like, just walk us through it so we can, you know.
If you want to find me, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook, Binderpaul Nanara, right?
When's your fight?
My fight will be in March. You can watch me on YouTube. You can stream off there. You can subscribe to them on World Cup of Muay Thai.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you very much for speaking with me. It's been a pleasure getting to know more about you and obviously your story as a fighter. And best of luck in March. You know,
Thank you very much.
I believe in you.
Thank you. Oh, it's going to be amazing.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.